I realized that my job was more than just a journalist. My job was a historian in many ways, and my job was an archiver of memories. Somebody who says military, we think a group of people who lift each other up and we serve side by side. But as a military photographer, oftentimes you're either working with just one other person who happens to be a videographer, or you're working by yourself. So it's wholly independent. And I had to remap my brain and get my head wrapped around being a photojournalist and having some independence and learning how to find my own stories and how to communicate with people. One significant moment that really changed the course of my life in terms of photography was my very last combat deployment for the military. That was in 2007. We were in Diyala province and in support of the battle for Bakuba, which was the last major offensive in the Iraqi Freedom Campaign. I had gained relationships with all the soldiers that I was serving with naturally, and that was my job, was to, I don't want to say embed, because I was already there and I was already part of it, an integral part of that whole mission. But I was Air Force, they were Army. I was a photographer, they were infantry. So there was still some acclimating and getting to know each other. And within the first couple weeks, I had many, many really, really good acquaintances and some very good friends. It just so happens that 6 weeks into that combat deployment, my battle buddy, who was my videographer partner, was shot. And on that very same day, another friend was killed. And sadly, just 24 hours prior to my video partner being shot, 3 soldiers whom I was very closely associated with were killed in an improvised explosive device. We as journalists, we make a personal connection with people, and you have to be able to break down those barriers in order to gain that trust and that understanding for them to be able to forget the camera and to be able to emote in front of you and just be themselves. And so I knew who they were, I knew their birthdays, their favorite foods, their children, their wives' names, and all that. So I felt really closely bonded, and when they passed away, that was definitely a jolt. And to have so much loss in such a rapid succession really gave me pause. But what really hit me home for me was after that particular operation came to an end, some of the soldiers who were teammates of the deceased came and asked me if I had pictures of them. I had some pictures in my archives from operations I had done with them previously, and sadly some of them I did not. And that really hit home.